My like pedal wouldn't work. Okay, so we got ourselves quite the setup here. We have a bunch of books up here. Why? So somebody a couple of days ago was asking during a gaming stream like how to work on sight reading. So here's how I worked on sight reading. So one, I purchased a lot of sheet music, all these different method books and whatnot, like just to improve my overall playing, look at different styles, whether it's like drum kit, timpani, marimba, whatever, rudimental. Every single day, set time, like 10% of your practice time, maybe 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, and just turn on a metronome at a moderate tempo and just pick a page and start reading through whatever it is that you're working on. Like let's say you're working on Fresh Perspectives book, read through the tenor parts. Just like practice sight reading it with a metronome slowly, going through the whole thing. Once you get through this book, cool, you got another book, read through the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. So spend time every single day going through whatever material it is that you want to work on. Over time, you will gradually start to speed up and improve your sight reading, make it easier because you're going to expose yourself to a wide variety of different styles, different rhythms, different rhythmic combinations, different sticking combinations, or whatever it is that you are actually practicing, and you will gradually be able to improve over time. Sight reading is a skill that can be developed. This is not some kind of an innate thing where you like wake up one day and all of a sudden you have it or don't. It just takes consistent practice every single day. So for me, I would like to do this at the start of my sessions. Alarm's going off. For me, I like to practice sight reading at the start of my sessions or at the end. Depends on like how much mental energy you have to be able to go through it. But if you do it at the start, you'll be fresh and be able to like read through things faster. And this will pay off in the long run depending on what kind of style you are playing. Like if you're playing drum kit, you want to be able to read some charts. So you might want to be able to go through like Syncopation by Ted Reed. So being able to get through that is a phenomenal skill to have. Even for concert percussion, I had one time in college, there was somebody who didn't show up to play like a major snare part for a concert piece. It was basically like a snare solo. And that person just didn't show up at all for the concert. So they're like, hey, Jared, can you sight read this on stage? And so being able to go up there and just like, all right, here's a complicated snare part and sight read it and have the confidence to be able to do that was because I spent time every single practice session just reading through it. Good way to work on like marimba sight reading is to pull out like a Bach book. There's one that is specifically for like 4-part Bach chorales, and you can just sit there and just like work on reading through your chords and just like getting through that kind of process, like to improve your four mallets, etc. So whatever it is that you're practicing, just spend time each day working on this and learning new styles, learning different stuff. This will help you become a better performer because you're going to be learning different types of repertoire. It'll also help you figure out some new music that you might want to play, like as different solos. And it's also going to help you become a better writer because you'll learn like different rhythmic combinations or different melodic combinations or chord combinations. And you'll go, oh, that was really interesting. Let me kind of like take note of that, and I can come back to this later and maybe learn this and dive deeper into whatever it is that you sight read through. So this is not focusing on perfecting whatever it is that you are reading, but it's actually just like spending time. Let me see how I want to phrase that. When you are sight reading, you're going to set like the metronome and you're going to just read through it. Doesn't matter how much you make a mistake, you're just going to keep going. So if you're going through like a Ted Reed chart, if you screw up on measure 3, you're not going to sit there and like keep repeating measure 3 and over. No, you got the metronome going, so you're already on a measure 4, and you're just going to keep going, and ignore all the mistakes that you make whenever you are practicing that sight reading. So that is what I recommend. Don't focus on the mistakes, just focus on pushing through and slowly getting faster at being able to read different stuff. So hopefully that answers the question that was asked 2 days ago when I was doing Spider-Man stream. So I'm going to clear this off for a second, and then we're actually going to talk about Flammus. So give me a second. I've actually got 2 more stacks of this. These books. Do you even lift method books, bro? Okay. And if you don't want to pay for like all those method books and whatnot, there's like the drumline sheets subreddit. I think that's what it's called. There's also like YouTube channels that are dedicated to sight reading, etc. So there's a lot of ways that you can get stuff for free, just like searching for music, keeping your own collection, and just like reading through it and not trying to memorize it, but just like, okay, once I get through all of the, let's say you have 100 pieces that you can sight read, just start back over again. Just keep going through that cycle. Anyways, let's get motivated. Hello! I like how you have the emoji with my wife's drums in the background. Okay. Shia LaBeouf, you're going to help us get motivated, okay? Let me move this so I can actually use the mouse. And move that. Boop. All right. Because of copyright, we'll hide Shia for a moment. Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it. Make your dreams come true. Just do it. Some people dream success. Well, you're going to wake up and work hard at it. Nothing is impossible. You should get to the point where anyone else would quit. And you're not going to stop there. No, what are you waiting for? Do it. Just do it. Yes, you can. I was early. Just do it. If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Shia LaBeouf. Ooh, look at that flex. Alrighty. So, let's pull this up. We got a request. Open to more criticism. Okay? We have permission to do this. So don't just like randomly start critiquing people unless they ask for it. Don't do that. W Love? Well, you know, I got my own heart emoji. Whoop! I appreciate it. Okay, so let's talk about Flammus here. So this person requested for some feedback, and previously on a video that is gonna release on my, what the? Steroids are, okay, yeah, not interested in that. All right, random. YouTube is taking a gamble. Is Jared gonna be interested in this? No. No, I'm not. That would be the answer. Okay, so previously this person asked for some feedback on Flammus, and so I provided it here. So let's take a look at what their playing was like previously on Lost. Let me turn up the volume of this. Okay, so now let's take a look at what it sounds like after some time practicing. Okay. Okay, so they mentioned in the comments that it was like getting late, so they lower their volumes from the start of it. So we're not going to talk about like the height issue that was going on with like, we started off with a, and then it eventually ended like at the front of the pad like this. Okay, so we're going to ignore that. Okay, so first of all, some of the feedback that I gave previously had to do with like the flam taps. We were like, it was like rushing in there. So significant improvement on your flam taps overall, which is great. So GG's for that. Another thing that we talked about previously was that the grace note height was high. So is like this. Obviously, with the heights that you're just doing there, you were playing lower than normal, or what you might normally do it at. But at the very beginning of this, if we take a look at it, the grace note heights were much improved. And the camera's flipped, by the way. Okay, so like that first note, slight raise, but not much, which is significantly better from that other recording that you had. So again, congratulations, you've made some improvement there. Another thing that we talked about previously was, okay, you need to slow this thing down and spend some time working on it with more control. So since we last spoke, there's actually been a play along that released that is Flammus. And you can find it here. So this is linked at the top of the screen. It's also on my YouTube channel underneath the Chops playlist on the home tab. But Flammus, this particular play along, it's missing the music, and that has to do with just like copyright issues. So I reached out to Murray Gussick, got permission to post this. But the deal was that I would not share the entirety of the music because this is like something that you can purchase, which you can get from here on Tapspace's website. But you can hear the entire part here. So what I'd recommend doing is actually going into the timestamps here and slowing this down even more. So this can go as slow as 20 beats a minute or as fast as 160 beats a minute. So the reason why I want you to slow this down is specifically for the diddles. So like, let's say you played this at, let's just go like medium tempo. So like 60 beats a minute or something. Let's go with 61 so it'll automatically tap off. So if you were to play this at this speed, when you're going through it, let's say it had Flamdrax on the very first line there. This is going to make it so that you're not just like throwing the diddles in, but are actively wrist stroking each one of the Flamdrags. As opposed to right now, where it's just kind of getting dropped into there rather than each one of them placed individually with a wrist turn or finger, depending on what kind of technique you're using, but it looks like you're using mainly wrist, which is fine. Hey, Sean. And I'm positive. Yeah. I try to be. You know, life's too short to focus on the negative side of things. But anyways, yeah, so focus on slowing this down even more. Your flam taps, like here at the end of this, are significantly improved in terms of like not rushing. One thing that you could continue to do is get that second note up, as opposed to right now where it's like a decrescendo where you're 1, 2, 3, because there's 3 notes in the flam taps when they're back to back. But so even though it's clear you appear to have slowed things down, slow it down even more, but this time focus on that height of the second note of the flam tap and focus on stroking each one of the diddles. Okay, another thing. Let's pull this back up. Let's make it full screen again. And again, if anyone wants feedback like this, I'm more than happy to give it. Like this video, it's like it's 14 minutes of just giving feedback the very first time. So if you're interested in this kind of feedback, I can do that. Just like give me permission to do it. So like they did on this post by saying, hey, you can give some feedback. If you tag me in it, then I can take a look at it if I feel like I can provide some advice. So yeah, that's what I recommend for that. But let's take a look at this again. Again, the heights, I understand because like you're trying to not wake up neighbors and whatnot. Getting another rep of this where you're playing on the same pad as you were before, as opposed to this one, which is much more squishy, would also allow you to have like a better comparison between like the before and after, basically, of time spent on it. So let's take a listen. Yeah, so the interior notes of like those diddles are improved there. So that is good. And again, especially because you've been playing for like a year and a half, this is great. You're way above where I was when I was playing for just a year and a half. But those little interior notes are getting better on the ending. But it's the little notes on the flam drags, and it might be because your pad is a little too squishy. Like if I were playing on a different pad, I don't have one on me, immediate access. I think I have one in the other room. But with a squishier pad, it's going to be a little bit harder to get those notes in there. But yeah, slow it down some more. So significant improvement overall with what you're doing. But try and get another recording, if possible, with like the same pad that you were doing in this video. And so we can hear that articulated lower notes. And so we can actually see you playing like at a time of day where you can get the full heights, the full dynamics. And then we can actually do a direct comparison of this. But overall, like huge improvements, continue to practice. And again, you are ahead of where I was when I was only playing for a year and a half. But hopefully this Flammus play along will help you out to be able to slow that one down. And again, if you are on YouTube, you can find this here. If you don't want to go to the my website, that's totally fine. It's underneath the chop exercises right here. So when you go into this, it's alphabetized. So you just go down to F for Flammus for here. Some of the playlists are alphabetized, not all of them are, but keep it up, keep practicing. Once we get like a video where we can see more of the technique at like full volumes, and we can talk about like the wrist turn, because like right now it's unclear how much wrist versus how much arm you're using on some of the accents, and it's also unclear like how much of the finger versus how much of the wrist you're using because you're playing so low. But it still does look a bit tight with the right hand in particular, and then the left hand, it's a little hard to see with that. But part of that, I think it's just the height issue because you were playing quietly, which I get. You want to not wake everybody else up, which is considerate. Anyways, let's warm up. Did a lot of talking so far. We're 20 minutes into it. Let's actually warm up with Blue Devil Shopping Spree. So last time we left off, we were at 60. So what I'm going to do is 40, 45, 50, 55. I'll stretch and massage, and then we'll come back here. We'll work from 60, try and get up to 80 or 90. But this is a 2000 Shopping Spree. It is currently members first, which just means that it's scheduled for public release. But it's scheduled for public release in November. So we've got over 150 videos currently scheduled. So stay tuned. Click, click. All right, so getting the blood flowing, getting the hands going. I left out the shots just because I don't want to hear rim shots right now. I feel like they'd be annoying. So I'm just going to ignore them. There's a lot of rim shots on that last line in particular. Let's go to 45 now. Whoop. Again, just getting the blood flowing. We'll stretch and massage. And then we'll speed her up. And then we'll chop out. And then we'll play some Spider-Man. Relax technique, folks. Let's go to 50. Boop. Stretch massage, and then we will go up one click at a time. Whoop, whoop. And we'll see how fast we can get today. Stay tuned. Oh. Make a full screen. I appreciate it, sir. Thank you. Okay, so we're just trying to warm up here. This is so slow that it's a little difficult to do that. So I'm just going to kind of ram some notes for a moment. And then we'll do a stretch massage. Since we haven't played today, I want to make sure I get warmed up. All right, good enough. Now, the first stretch that I'm going to do is you take your sticks and you hold it, woo, so that your palms are facing up. You pull in, you push out. Ooh, wee. I recommend not doing the stretches cold. Get blood flowing in your hands. Whatever you need to do that. Just improvise stuff, whatever. Just helps loosen things up and go back out the way you came. If you do traditional rotate and hold, I don't do that anymore. Okay, now we're going to stretch the underside of the forearm. So you could do it like that, one at a time. You could do it on your pad like this. You could do it on the wall. The lower you go, the deeper the stretch. Let's do that one. Yeah. Nice. Now the top side right here. So we're going to stretch here. You could do it like that. You could do it on your pad. You could do this on your leg. Or you could do this one on the wall. But the higher you go, the deeper the stretch. Don't put all your weight into it. Nice. Now we're going to do thumb to thumb. Stretching. Getting relaxed. Index. Middle finger. Thought it was going to pop. Nope. Denied. Denied. OCD. Gotta fix it. Okay. Ooh, there's a little pop. And no, denied. Okay. Now we're going to massage. Thumb on top, fingers underneath. Just loosening up the forearm. You may need to get into your bicep, triceps, shoulders, etc. Depending on how your arms are feeling. It will have a profound impact if you are tight up here. It'll work its way down into here, which will work it down into your forearm, which will work down in your fingers, in your palm, in your toes. Lighting change. Now I'm blurry. I'm like Bigfoot. Mitch Hedberg reference there. All right. Massaging. And then we'll get back into, Blue Devils 2000 Chop and Spring. We'll start at 60, and we're just going to go up one click at a time. One click. I'm massaging the fingers from base to tip at least 2 times. If the finger's tight, I'll do it longer. You're just working your way through. It's a good little massage. Nice. If you got a finger that's tight, spend more time with it. So like, okay, I'm going to do this one 3 or 4 times. Alrighty, let's get back into it. Back into the grind. And this is what I'm talking about with like playing stuff slow. Like I'm learning this exercise. I'm going through it slowly. That's what I highly recommend, so you can control each one of the notes. Oh yeah, we're going up by ones now. It's about to jump to 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. That grouping is throughout most of this. Two, 3, 4, 5. Changes it right there. Now we're at 62. Woo! World record speed right here. Slow down, Jared. You're breaking the sound barrier. just got like a weird, like my ear needs to pop sensation. Weird. Whoops. Thinking about something else. So something I'm actually going to add on to what I was talking about earlier with like the critique of the Flammus playing is if you really want good feedback from like other drummers, if you're like posting on social media like, hey, any critique is welcome, play through something multiple times, at least 2 or 3 times. So that way people can see what are the consistent errors and what are the inconsistent errors. Because if you're just playing like your best rep or your best take on something, then when people like look at it, they're going to be like, oh, you should really work on A, B, and C. But what if the actual issues were X, Y, and Z? Those were the more consistent errors that you're having, but instead the A, B, and C was just like a brain fart. And you're like, that happens once every 100 reps. But the real consistent errors are whatever it is that people aren't focusing on. So if you want good feedback from people, whether it's from myself, just tag me in it, giving me permission, saying, hey, Jared, I'd like your feedback on this particular playing. Play through it multiple times so that way we can hear what to work on over multiple reps rather than just like your best take on something. And I know that can be scary. Sharing like what you're playing is like not the best take in front of other people. Like practicing and sharing every one of my mistakes definitely took some getting used to, but trust me, it's worth it in the long run if you want that kind of feedback. And if people aren't asking for that, don't give it to them unsolicited. Don't just be like, hey, you need to work on blah, 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 blah. Cool. I'm not asking for that. Thanks. Appreciate you. It can turn some people away from drumming if you just unnecessarily provide criticism when they're not looking for it. Just realized that was facing the other direction. It's an interesting ending. Ends right before what would be the downbeat. Whoops. Read that wrong. It's slowly getting better. I thought I was gonna start tapping off again. Nope. Thank you for the hearts. All the emotes. It's a cool little phrase. Whoa, 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 whoa. My like stick came out of my hand. Okay, let's try it again with more focus. Do it. I appreciate it, Hashir. Hope you're having a good day so far. Thanks for stopping in. Cat, hello! How you been? Also good. Glad to hear you're doing. You don't need to apologize for that. I hope you have had a good trip or are having a good trip. If you're here, great. If you're not, no worries. You. Oh, yeah. Keeps like teasing. You think it's going to tap off. Nope. Little respite. Sit here by the campfire, weary traveler. I appreciate it. Trying to get better every day. Whoa. Let's see, just got on. Thanks for the feedback. Yeah. So the tunable pads, you can detune them, so they're great for building up chops. Yeah, no problem. So one of the things, this is a fun spree to learn. So is Maury spree, but one of the things that I mentioned like a few minutes ago, is when you record reps, if you record like 2 or 3 reps, then we can see what are the consistent errors, what are the inconsistent errors for your playing. And so then we can give better feedback than just like, here's the best take on this. Like if you just like hit record, play 3 reps, hit stop, and then share that can give you like even better feedback in terms of like how to improve your playing. But I know that can be intimidating at times to like share just the raw playing and not like, here's my best take on something, but that's how you can get like the actual really good feedback. That's what I recommend, at least. And for context, when I first started streaming, practicing, I like nearly had a panic attack. Sharing my mistakes was not what I spent decades preparing myself to do. It was always spending months working on something and then sharing the raw everything. Took some getting used to, but I highly recommend it. Whoops. Talking screws me up. Yeah, so this is what they played in 2000. So 24 years ago. Which makes me feel really old. Because I was still in high school. Hey, I appreciate you stopping in, Kat. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Why am I screwing that up? Like it's kind of like a book report, but you get rid of that last diddle and you make it all accents except for the second note. Yeah, something about it is weird for me. I don't know why. Yeah, the new ones look cool because they've got rims on the heavy hitters. I'm gonna have to get one. Granted, these old ones are like designed to compensate for the lack of the rims, so the spacing accounts for that. So they're wider than a normal set of tenors. Yeah, so these are a wider gap than what you'd normally have to account for like where the rim would be on it. But the new ones are a little bit tighter of a gap, and they have the rims, which is sweet. Okay. So it looks better. It looks better overall. Did you see the guy who painted his black? Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, the purple I don't mind. Like, totally down for that. But the like an all black one looks sweet. Probably not great in the sun. Get a little bit hot, but yeah, overall it was a cool idea. Let's see. Okay, so we moved this up 20 clicks. Yay! Success. Now let's drop out with something. So let's go back. Any tips on writing a solo? Think about that. So tips for writing a drum solo, like for I&E or something, is to first spend some time seeing what others have done already and getting some inspiration from it and going, oh, they did this one thing, but what if I like changed this and did this variation on that? And then writing stuff to your strengths. So focus on the things that you are already good at and try and showcase or highlight that to make it obvious, hey, here are the things that I'm really good at. And avoid the weaknesses, because you're just playing a solo to try and like win a competition. You're basically trying to show off, as opposed to like when I'm doing these practice sessions where I share, here's all the stuff I'm bad at. Focus on the things that you really like playing and like playing musically and fast. So don't just play everything at like two heights and just like doing a bunch of stringing together a bunch of like hybrid rudiments and whatnot, but try and make it so that you have different ideas that are connected together in some kind of a thematic way or some kind of a musical way that makes sense. So you're not just like playing as fast as you possibly can, but think of it like a song or a story that you are telling through the music that you are making. And I know that's easier said than done, but really it just comes down to practicing making that. So between now and whenever your competition is, like each week come up with like a new solo idea, or each day even, and spend time working on that. And then over time, like have your core one that you're going to do, but then spend time experimenting with like a little bit of time going outside of the box that you normally do. So like if you have like an I&E piece that here's the one that I want to do, and it's like roughly put together, spend 80% of your time on that, and then maybe like 20% of your time working on just like experimental stuff. So like some of the things that I was doing when I was going to do I&Es are experimenting with like changing dynamics without changing the heights. So for example, having that kind of control where you're changing how fast, or rather like the velocity and the amount of contact you have on the stick can change the power behind it. Same thing without changing like from a low volume. Another thing that I was like experimenting with was doing a bunch of ghost note stuff. So like ghost flam drags. And then you do ghost backsticking. So instead of playing a flam drag where you'd actually hit here, you ghost it. So you fake that note, etc. But yeah, look at even people who don't win I&E. So like Brandon is obviously a phenomenal drummer, but if you look at even like what is the 5th place I&E doing, and then compare that, like how does the 5th place compare with the 1st place? Is it just a chop thing, or is it also a musical thing, or is it like an innovation thing? Like Isaac, what's his name? He did like a snare solo where he played with the stick in his like elbow crease, and so he played like this. I can't do that, I didn't work it up, but like that innovation wise was just like the judges really appreciated that. So you can look at stuff like that, but yeah, it's good to have some people that inspire you to want to like do some different variations, and just know that it's just one solo. You'll have more opportunities. Have fun with it, experiment. Let's play something fast. What do we want to play fast? Let's just go with Blue Devils 99. So we're just doing 2000 spree. So we'll do the 1999 shopping spree. Yeah, you could totally use inspiration from other types of music and whatnot. Like if you listen to a lot of Roger Carter's music, like he's heavily inspired by metal. But then if you listen to Blue Devils, they're heavily inspired by jazz. So there's a lot of places that you can draw inspiration from. Hiccup. Okay. This shopping spree is 1 year earlier than the one that we were just working on. $130. Like those float variations. $140. Which is a nibby thing, but I can't write to music without sounding. Yeah, that just comes with time. So the more you learn from and the more that you practice writing, the easier it will be. So I don't know how far back in the stream you went back, but let me show you. So in this, where is it at? This one. So mute myself. So at the very start of this particular stream that I'm doing right now, when it has me with this like giant stack of method books, I talk about how I worked on sight reading. So like I read through these books, like just spending time each day going through it. And I talk about that process. That not only helps like with the sight reading, but it also helps with just becoming a better writer. And the more practice you have with it, the better you're going to be. Like the very first book that I wrote for high school was night and day different from the very last book that I wrote for a high school, or an exercise or whatever. So like me today, after 26 years of playing, is way better than me 20 years ago in terms of writing. So just practice it. You'll get better at it. It takes time. You'll get there. It's the discipline of being able to come back each day. That's the important part. Try and refine, improve a little bit at a time. All right. 160 will probably be the breaking point. At the end of these practice streams, I'm trying to chop out and trying to get to that breaking point just to train my brain to think faster and my hands to play faster. And it's just a fun challenge. All right, I think that's the breaking point for today. This play-along can be found on my website, jaredoleary.com/drum. There's 53 chop exercises. We were working on the Blue Devils 2000 chopping spree earlier. The one I was just playing was the 1999 chopping spree. This one is currently members first, which just means that it's scheduled for public release, but it's coming out in November. We've got over 150 videos scheduled to release every single day between now and 150 some odd days from now. We've got a bunch of limb independence timing things to work on that you can play while playing an ostinato pattern. We've got 55 drum charts, both straight and swung. We've got 358 triplet grid variations, 489 16th note grid variations, 114 technique exercises, 163 marching bass exercises, and literally several hours of drumming tips. Any one of them, again, that says members first, it's coming out eventually, publicly, for free. So you don't have to pay for anything to use any of these free resources. If you enjoy it, just share it with other people. Plenty more to come. If you are curious what kind of sticks and pad and all that stuff I'm using, just click on this one, and it'll show you like some of those method books that I just showcased that I recommend. These are affiliate links through Amazon, so I get about 4%-ish back from Amazon. So if you're going to buy something like a nice large TV that costs $10 billion, click on one of these links first and then buy it, and then I'll make all the monies. Just kidding. Okay. The sticks I'm using, by the way, they're Hardeman hammers. They're chop sticks, so I highly recommend them. If you don't want to go to my website where everything is neatly organized here, you don't have to. You can just go to my home tab of the tube of you. I can't sub to myself. Thanks, though. Appreciate the opportunity. We've got drumming, gaming, computer science stuff. Just click on the drumming header, and then boom. It just shows you only the drumming playlist. Like, here's the technique ones. Here's all the drumming tips that I give in these streams. I just kind of compile them into these videos that you can check out to learn how to improve your rolls or your flams or crossovers or whatever. So everything is inside of these playlists, all the drumming content. Or again, just go to my website, which is linked right here, /drum specifically. If you go to game, it'll take you to the gaming stuff. If you go to gear, it'll take you to the percussion gear I recommend. All that fun stuff. Ever considered posting reaction vids? So I think that is easy content to create, and I don't think there's a lot of value in it when people are just like, wow, that's amazing. So I thought about it and was like, how could I make this like more interesting from an educational standpoint? So maybe at some point in the future, if it's like, oh, here's how to do this thing, or here's what they're doing right here, or did you notice this, or whatever, like then maybe I could do something like that. But I will do the React stuff like I just did earlier today, where I was like looking at your video and like, hey, here's some feedback on how you can improve something, but only with permission. Because again, I don't want to like pull up a drumline video and react to that and just be overly critical when they're not asking for my feedback. Because there's that tendency, like I get a lot of comments of people like, you need to play with more finger or less finger. And it's like, well, have you ever thought about asking, well, why are you playing this way? I've been playing probably longer than you've been alive. There's very specific reasons why I do what I do and don't do, etc. So, long-winded answer of saying, yes, I thought about it, but I haven't figured out how I would do it other than getting permission to react to something. If that makes sense. Do I earn money from YouTube? Yes, I do earn money, but not a lot yet. So, not nearly as much as I used to make. I was the director of education and research at a nationwide nonprofit, and I made a lot of money. So I made like 6 figures, and then I walked away from that to make free content on YouTube. So, yeah, haven't made much compared to what I was making previously. But I'm able to help more people, and I actually enjoy what I do now as opposed to what I was doing in the previous job. Am I retired? No. I just didn't like working there anymore for many reasons. So I quit and have been creating this stuff ever since. And before then, I was doing it part-time, but now I spend like all my day just like working on this stuff, like doing the video edits or creating more sheet music, which is why we have so many different things on here. All these different play-alongs is because this is what I do. But anyways, I'm going to get set up for some Spider-Man 2. So stay tuned for that. Probably in about 20 or so minutes, but I got to move all of this and whatnot. But thank you, everybody, for stopping by. And if you enjoy this content, just share it with somebody else. Use it. That way I can make pennies per view. Well, less than that, actually. It's more like a fraction of pennies. In the long run, though, we'll make dollars eventually. But I'm going to call it here. Goodbye.